Flosstube. This is Michelle, and today is the 27th of June. And this is Loki, our newest kitty cat. Whoops. He's very sweet. We got him at the Humane Society. He's not really sure about how he feels about his dog brothers or his cat sisters. He does like his human sisters. And Bella is going to take him right now because Hector, sweet old Hector, wants to eat him. Isn't that right? So, Loki, say bye-bye, Flosstube. All right. Okay, this may be a little chaotic. It may be a little chaotic. All right. After I was going to do Mania, and I kind of did Mania, and after that I decided that I was going to revamp my rotation because I haven't been doing a rotation because last year in like November, in December I just wanted to get the LW motif sampler finished, and I just worked on that a lot. And then in January and February, and I don't remember how much of March, I just wanted to get the Isabella Johnstone with the red and white cow that was done by Needlework Press and was in the hey puppy, and was in the Sampler and Antique Quarterly, Needlework Quarterly. I just wanted to get that done, and then Mania. So my rotation now, my new rotation that I've been doing in June, I'm back to my 2 projects a week. So a project Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, a second project Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Santa Sunday, Christmas on Sundays. But I may be changing that. I may be changing the Santa Sundays to big project Sundays. What I'm doing that's how my rotation has always been. But what I'm doing different about it is before I would have 9 to 10 pieces in that rotation. And so 9 projects, that's 27 days at 3 days each. So I could get about 9 projects and hit them every month. And I don't know what these 2. They first popped up during my second pregnancy, and I don't know why they're there right now. But I just wasn't getting a lot done. I was working on everything, but I wasn't getting a lot done. So the change is that the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday project is the same project for every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, for instance, right now, and that's my focus on a finished project. So right now, what I want to focus on is 1,000 Hills by Plum Street Samplers. I didn't think it was in here. This is 1/1, so if you know me, that's going to be a huge problem. On one of the Attic Needlework podcasts, they were talking about continental stitch 1/1 being different than tent stitch 1/1, and so I'm interested because tent stitch with letters, sometimes it just doesn't look like they're closed all the way. So I'm interested if somebody has a link for me about continental stitch 1/1. I would be interested in trying this because I would love to not do full crosses, but I want all my letters to be closed and look right. I'm assuming that this is light mocha. Zweigart 40 count light mocha. I love the colors. What I've been working on is all this fill in. So it's not, so this should be the edge over here. So maybe this is the center. So maybe I've got that much more to do. My problem is there's 2 greens, avocado and then pea pod. And I have 2 very different pea pods. One is a golden brown pea pod, and one is a more green pea pod, which is fine. I'm just, mixing them up, and I'm happy with that. But now I'm starting to worry that I might need more pea pod. And I think when I looked on 123, it was out of stock. All right, so that is going to be every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday until it's finished. And then after that, I'll just go ahead and show you. After that is finished, the next focus on a finish is going to be Caroline Broomhead. I'm doing this also on Light Mocha by Zweigart, 40 count Light Mocha by Zweigart. Plum Street Samplers Antiques. And I'm using mostly the called for silks, except for Shepherd's Pasture. I'm using DMC 928, I think. And then that'll free up. Then I can finally figure out, oh, I wonder what that is. Huh. Maybe I'll figure that out. I'll cut that. At some point, I'll cut that down. So I'm really enjoying it. I've made a mistake somewhere in the tree. So I'm just trying to go over and start things. I'm trying not to count off anything from the tree. I want to see, I mean like 1 or 2 stitches, not anything that would need to be pulled out. So that would be my next focus on a finish. And right now, it's just getting, you know, one Thursday, Friday, Saturday slot during the week. Okay, excuse me, Ramses. I need to move this chair closer, babe. All right, so I'm flanked with little black puppy dogs right now. All right, I guess I should show you some of the other things that I'm working on, and then we'll do the Mania small rotation. So what I'm doing with Mania starts to get them done, because these 3-day blocks are for bigger projects. So I'm having 2-day blocks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for smaller projects, which are mostly Mania projects at this point. But this is another big one, and I just got this bag today. You may have seen it on Instagram. I'm the Striped Rose on Instagram. My Instagram is private because just because I used to show pictures of godchildren or nieces or neighbors, most of whom are older now. So that's not so much of an issue, but I just started noticing that so many like single middle-aged men who were looking for friendship started to follow me, and that was just weird. I just started thinking, I mean, I used to think if you want to look at my cross stitch, pictures of my dogs and pictures of my lunch, by all means follow me. But now I'm just like, if you're a middle-aged man looking for friendship, you need to go look somewhere else, because I won't do that. All right, so I got this today, and all that blather was to say that I showed it on my Instagram. This is by Samplers Not Forgotten. This is one of my big monthly pieces that I'm trying to finish. And actually, I'm going to work on it this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm doing it probably on the Light Mocha. And I've made a couple of changes. Just, I'm using Cherry Cobbler for my red flowers. And the roof is Pelican Gray. It's supposed to be Pelican Gray, which I like. And I'm using it in a Blackbird Designs that you're going to see in a minute. And I'm using it in a Plum Street Sampler that you're going to see in a minute. But it didn't look right here. So I changed it to Color and Cotton Chimney Sweep, which it just, my Pelican Gray is very gray, maybe a little gray brown, and this looked like a real charcoal blue gray. So, and it looks fine with the blue that's called for, so I think that's going to be fine. But I'm really looking forward to getting this one done. And I'm going to get this one done, and I want to make a patriotic wall at my mom's house. I am patriotic, very patriotic. My husband is patriotic, but he doesn't like Americana as a decorating style. It's just not his preference, and it doesn't go. I mean, it doesn't match the house. And sometimes I'll stitch something and he'll say, "Oh yeah, that looks nice. That'll look real nice at your mom's house or my mom's house," which isn't an insult. We have a lot of windows. We have very limited wall space, and I love stitching Americana designs. I love seeing Americana designs, and I'll be very happy seeing them at my mom's house. That's not a problem. So I said I was going to do that this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but I'm also going to do something else on the 4th of July, which is coming up, right? But the 4th of July is one of those days. And I would love for you to join me by stitching or starting Flag Folk by Not Forgotten Farm. I think her Etsy patterns are still on sale. I don't think that there's a PDF download of this right now. But she shipped this fairly quickly. So I would love to have you stitch along Flag Folk or any flag of any country. You can do a pirate flag if you want to. A flag, stitch along on the 4th of July. If you're British, stitch a British flag, stitch a Scottish flag, a Canadian flag, a German flag, or, well, stitch whatever you want when you want. But if you want to join me for Flag Folk and stitching either the flag of your country or just general Americana, which I happen to like quite a bit, Flag Folk. And of course I'm stitching this because Tina, For the Love of the Stitches, and her daughter Ashley stitched it, and that made me love it. Now, I'm going to stitch it. Michelle Farm Girl Stitcher, I think she said she was going to stitch this on Murky. And Murky is kind of an amazing fabric. It's not my taste, but it surprises me how attractive most everything I've ever seen stitched on it is. I don't know why it's magic, but it seems to be magic. But I am going to stitch it on Zweigart Sand. And you're saying, Michelle, you hate yellow. I do hate yellow. This calls for 36 count butternut linen from Dixie Sampler hand-dyed linens. This sand I got, it said it was Zweigart Sand. And the reason that I ordered this is because now here's where the chaos comes in. I've recently fallen in love with Zweigart, these are all 40 count Newcastles, Cafe au Lait 40 count. It's a little different from, it is, you may not be able to tell, it's a little different than the light mocha. It's a tiny bit different than platinum. It is a little different than platinum and a little different than light mocha, which are my two favorites. So I think it's fun, and it almost looks like flax in the way that it's, I don't know how to describe that, not rustic, not mottled, I don't know. But I really love Cafe au Lait. So I was like, Cafe au Lait linen, I'm Cafe au Lait Newcastle, why have I never heard of that? And so then I was looking it up, and everything said Cafe au Lait Newcastle is also sometimes called it's also called Sand Newcastle. Well, I just don't think so. No, it's not. And it's also not light sand, because I bought some of that too. It's also not light sand. It's its own thing. You see that? This is sand. This is light sand. This is Cafe au Lait / sand, but it's not. These are all Zweigart. So it was a fun little experiment buying those. And sand and light sand are not my new favorites, but Cafe au Lait really, really is. So Flag Folk is one of my big ones that I'm working on. Another big one that I'm going to be working on this month, and I've showed you this a million times, and it's going to get done this year, I think. I just feel like I don't want to start another red sampler until I finish this, because I love this, and I've bought 2 skeins of silk thread, so I want to make sure that I get that done, that I don't waste it. So this is, I was trying to tell myself, you can do 1 pomegranate a day, Michelle. Michelle disagreed. Michelle decided she couldn't do 1 pomegranate a day. So this is on platinum that I love. So you can see that cafe au lait is a little warmer, but it's not quite as brown as light mocha. It also, a lot of places online says it has a pinkish tone. I don't see that, but maybe it does vary. So this needs to get done. It's about halfway. The line of words under the pomegranates would be halfway. That just needs to get done, and that's being stitched with Belle Soie Tulip, and I bought 2 of these, so I don't want that to go, all that silk, I don't want that to go to waste. I want to get that done. So that will be one of the ones this week. Okay, one of the things that I started during Mania that's a big project, and it's in another Creative Carol bag. Did I tell you? Ooh, looks like I've got bubble gum on it. Did I tell you that the Patriotic bag I showed you was a Creative Carol bag? Creative with a K, Carol with a C. Another one that I started, and you saw me get it in the mail last podcast, or one of the podcasts. I'm doing these. Yeah. So I've started with summer. I've made 1 change, and I may make 1 other color change. So I'm doing this on platinum, and most of this green vine is called for Piney Woods by Gentle Arts, and that is that's too golden brown for what I thought it looked like on the cover. So I ordered Classic Colorworks pine needles, and I really like that, and that's endive for these little leaves, and I really like that. And I have an old Wild Berries. It says Crescent Colorworks on it, or Crescent Colors on it. So got a big piece of platinum. I mean, I don't know why I just stopped wanting to cut my fabric down. I just suddenly don't want to cut my fabric down. I don't necessarily want to wrestle with it all the time, but so I worked on that actually yesterday and today. I don't know what today is. Today's Friday. Okay, today's Friday. That clears something up that I was worried about. All right, so that's one of the ones that I want to work on once a month, and that will eventually become a focus Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All right, I have 3 Creative Carol bags I'm collecting. I don't have the cover sheet for G Leisure because I gave it to my mom to see if she wanted to use it in her junk journaling. I haven't picked this up in a while. This is also on light mocha. I haven't picked it up in a while because I'm mad at the pinks. I'm just mad at the pinks. So the one that I'm trying now, I think I bought like a dozen pinks. This is Meredith's pink. At least it doesn't have that tan that the 2 called for pinks in overdyed cotton and in the Gloriana. I didn't like all the tan in antique lace and the other one. So what I'm doing is I chose Dinky Dye's Cranberry Cocktail for my cranberry color. And some of the reddish letters I'm making Schoolhouse Red, and some of them are making cranberry. just by what it looks like to me on the picture. The colorway, the Gloriana silk that was called for to be this cranberry color, I'm using it inside the border. That's the pink. That's a pink I started with just to give me a position to put the other ones. But it's just not, it's just warmer than I want. So I'm just going to keep trying pinks and blues until I finish that one because, and I wish so badly that I had started at the bottom like Kindred Stitcher did, because I want to stitch that pair. Okay, so something's missing. I am also still working on 11 Fairy Garden of my Blackbird Designs Garden Club series. I thought this was, yeah, this is platinum. So I'm just working on that one, and then I'll have this 12th block, and then I will be done with that. And that was one that just never really fit in the rotation. I just worked on it at will, and that just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. And I wanted to go ahead when that was done and start the Anniversaries of the Heart all on one piece, and I just don't know how I'll work that in. Another small thing that I just started to work on at will was the Old Glory Cup by Priscilla and Chelsea. I thought that the summer ones were so cute, and I thought I'd love to have 3 or 4 really plain ones, plainly finished ones in a basket in the kitchen. And this is either Birch, Zweigart, Newcastle 40 count. I just really don't know what this is. I found a piece of it that I had started my Scarlet Letter, The Heart Lives Where He Loves. Oh, there's Caroline Broomhead pattern. And I didn't like it on that. So I don't know what it is. Santa Sundays, I've been trying to do these. I got from my mother's house the mother load of just about every single one except for maybe the past 5 years. And I had started on this one, 1987. I had started on this a while back because it looked simple and quick. And it would be if I could focus. So I'm just doing it on light country mocha. Oh, there. Probably want to keep up with that needle. I mean, I would like to get 3 of these done a year for my mom's Christmas tree on 40 count. I'd like to just put thread on nice thread drops so that, you know, because they're always the same colors. I just haven't done it yet. So I'd like to do that, and then I would like to start another one. So see, I need to keep that on Santa Sunday. But my other idea for Santa Sunday, I'm having trouble talking, was to start, after I finish Garden Club, a very, very, very generous stitcher, I think it was last year, gave me a very, very big gift. And that is the Days of Advent sampler by Mary Beale. It's 24 small charts, and I don't even know if her site is operational anymore. But this is, well, that's part 2. You can't see them, but you get an idea of what each square. And it is Old Testament stories. I imagine, I can't see very well, but I imagine that is, oh my goodness gracious, Michelle. Not Jonah Moses parting. Party. See what happens when you don't go to Sunday school all summer because of coronavirus? Can't even remember who parted the Red Seas. So I'd really like to do that. Probably on light country mocha. I don't know if I could get a big enough piece. I got that piece of Cafe au Lait. I don't even want to tell you this because it's hard to keep in stock. From Hollis Hands Create. I've really enjoyed watching her blog and her Etsy store. She'll have some cafe au lait 40 count Newcastle for a couple of days, and then I buy 2 pieces of it, and then somebody else must buy it, and it's gone. But she seems to be able to get it. So that's not going to help you. I don't really have any picture. If you look up Mary Beal Days of Advent sampler, Siobhan from Blue Hen Hollow had done it years ago and had it framed, and it was really amazing. Really, really, really amazing. All right, there is something else I started in June. I fell in love with this as soon as she released this. This is Hello from Liz Matthews, the Red R sampler, and I just love it. So I am doing this on cafe au lait linen, which I think is lighter than the called for linen. The called for linen is Stars Hollow linen. So I changed this. I'm doing the DMCs. And I changed this from a peachy color to probably 3865, because that's the white I almost always use. I need to get these put on thread drops. I got to take that out because that's not a 4-sided stitch. So what I was trying to do is there are 3 alphabets, a cross stitch, a 4-sided stitch, which I don't mind, and an eyelet stitch, which I don't mind. And then there's another cross stitch alphabet below the eyelets. So what I was trying to do is like stay on the same color and work a little bit of this alphabet and a little of this one, a little of this one, so I didn't get bogged down, you know, in specialty stitches. But I really like the way they look together. So I started that, that may have been like my June first start. I can't even read. Yep, no, I started it on the 4th of June. And so that's one I want to stick back in the once a month rotation on their way to becoming Focus on a Finished charts. Okay, so let me tell you what I did for Mania. My plan was someone else's plan, everybody else, a lot of other people's plans. My plan was to do a new start if I had finished the charts that I had done on that day in the 2 previous years that I did Mania. That did not always work. In fact, on the 17th of May, I decided I'd had it and I wasn't doing Mania anymore. And that's okay. All right, so what I'm going to show you is what I did work on. What happened is everything I picked back up, I wanted to finish. Why haven't I finished this? I started this last year because I absolutely love it. I still love it. Why isn't it done? So on the 18th, when I woke up and said, I can't keep going, it's because I knew everything I picked up from the 18th to the 31st, I was also going to want to start and focus on. I was also going to want to focus on, is what I mean. So I thought, I'm just going to pick 3 from the first half of the month. I'm going to work on them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every week the same until one of them's finished, and then pull a new one in. And so that is my current plan. But I didn't start with day 1. Day 1 is Shall I Compare Thee by Blackbird. And I did not make a lot of headway. I started with the blue roof. I think I might know what one problem is. The green I think was burlap, and so I remember I immediately switched to Coloring Cotton Hazel Brown and thought that was absolutely perfect. But you know what I don't know? I have no idea. Oh, and I switched my red to Baked Apple from Pomegranate. What I don't know is what color Adam is. And then I guess Adam and Eve don't have to be the same color, but his other leg should probably be the same color. I love Garden Gate. I love the variegation in Garden Gate. Oh yeah, yeah. Gotta make Adam's leg match his other leg, and then it won't matter so much about Eve. But so day 2 was Summer Schoolhouse by Brenda Gervais. This is a holdover from last year, and this is one of the 3 that I chose to focus on finishing. So I'm working on this every Monday and Tuesday, and I really like it. The problem here is that green that is supposed to be Oscar, the main part of the stem, not the leaves, the stem, doesn't look like either of the Oscars that I own. It's not much to pick out, but you know, it's very popular and very common in old samplers or reproduction samplers to have part of the stem one green and part of the stem another green. So I'm not ripping out. I just got to figure out what I want my other green. But basically I've been working on this house and the roof. And the roof is Flatfish, which is it's kind of an interesting color. So that is one of my Mania or small project focus on the finishes. So I'm trying to put things back in here. Day 3 was also from last year, and I didn't bring the book. It's Liberty Rose, and I'm doing this half on Bittersweet, which I think might be Lakeside Linens, 40 count, and I'm going to do the other side light khaki, and it's just the 3 colors, oak, pink sand, and graphite, which it just amazes me. It just amazes me. So of course I did those 3, and except for Adam, I was like, why am I doing Mania? I just want to work on these 3 projects, but I persisted. So the next day was a new start. That's why I persisted. My heart can rest. And isn't that what we just all want? Is a place where my heart can rest. Just the idea of the chart being called My Heart Can Rest, I loved. So I'm doing it on, that's what I'm doing it on, light mocha. And I'm using the called for colors, except I'm using pea pod. Remember how I said I was worried I didn't have enough pea pod for 1,000 Hills? Well, I decided that the called for lime green was too lime for me. I mean, I love all greens, but it just was a little too lime for me. So I'm using not the brownish golden pea pod, but the one that was more green. And I'm pretty happy with that. So, and I got some Pat Carson 28 needles. Usually I use Peacemaker needles. I really like the shape. But I kind of like these. I haven't actually stood them up together, but I think that they're a little longer than the Peacemakers, and I kind of like that. So I really like these colors. That's the Pelican Gray, Used Brick, Jakey Brown, and something else is in there. But I just think that I just think that's a really you like how Michelle's look. Used Brick Barn Door. Oh my. I was going to tell y'all that my podcast was going to be peaceful and stress-free, and unless you like lots of whips and tangled up threads, and that might be stressful, but isn't that a nice palette? Just those, I don't know, that's a really nice palette, and that's one to keep in mind, I think, when I want to change colors around. I think that would be a really nice palette to revisit. So the next day, this is why Michelle didn't stay focused on those first 3 days, is because the next day I started My Heart Can Rest, and then I started A Joyous Day, which I've had for a really long time. I called, as soon as I saw it hit the internets, I called Country Sampler, I think, and ordered this. Actually, I think I sent text to Farm Girl Stitcher and said, "What is this? What is this? Is this a joke? Is this really by Blackbird Designs?" I was so excited. So I started it, and I used a coveted piece of Lakeside Linens navy bean, maybe. I must have started at the top. Yeah. And that's all I got done. So that won't go in the small 2-day rotation. That'll need to go in the bigger one when something else gets pushed out. Because I really am looking forward to Heirloom Gold. Ooh, what's this? Sage. Assume those are from in there. Okay, so day 6 was back to last year, and this was a free chart. I don't know if any of that will help you. And it is at the edge of the sea, and I'm using one color Deep Sea Weeks. And I didn't make a lot of progress. When I started it last year, we had gone right after the last, ooh, sorry, babe. The last, oh my goodness, I got a dog on his belly back there with his 4 legs straight up in the air. We had gone after the last dance recital and driven to Jekyll Island, maybe, for a conference that Jerry was going to be in, and I started that there. And I was looking forward this year in May to going back, but that didn't happen. The next day, I was working on a start from last year called Rosy Morning, and I eventually finished it in the second half of the month. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. It was really pretty. Hope I find it. All right, so after Rosy Morning, I went back to an old chart that I had fallen in love with many years ago. This came out, I want to say, in 1991. That was the year I graduated from college, Sheepish Designs. And this is, be you unto others kind and true as you would have others be to you. And then the alphabet. And it's very, 931, 930, 224, those kinds of colors, and that's fine. I like it. And that's all I got done. But I'm very glad to have started that after having loved it for however many years that is, because I imagine my mother got it when it came out. All right, so the next thing I didn't work on, but I found it. I found it like a week ago. I wanted to do all 3 of these, like Priscilla and Chelsea. And last year, I had started Land of the Free and then immediately lost the chart. It was in with another Mania chart, even though I had looked through all the bags 50 times. And that's just what I had gotten done last year. So I'm looking, that one would be a quick one to finish, I think, because I've already made headway. Land of the Free. The next day, the 10th, I was supposed to start a Christmas ornament. I just decided I didn't want to do anything. I kept working on Rosy Morning. The next day, the 11th, Patriotic Pin Keep, done with 2 threads over 32 out of the American book that has Liberty Rose. And I didn't want to do that. So I started Rachel Holmes. Jerry, maybe we can put a picture in right here. Maybe. It's really, really pretty. You can download it on her I mean, you know what? I know I'm showing you a brown line, but this is the most beautiful brown. It's Weeks Dye Works Mocha, and I don't know why, but that is just really, really pretty. It's just really, really pretty. So I was perfectly happy. Now I think that I am stitching this on Tea Cake, Russian Tea Cake Legacy. Oh, I think I was saying that you can go to Heartstrings Samplery's Etsy shop and get a PDF download, which Heartstrings Samplery's Etsy shop PDF downloads, as I'm going to show you, it's nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble, because you just want them all. $10, $10, $10. Oh my goodness, I want them all. Rachel Holmes, 1842. It's beautiful. Go and look at it on her Etsy shop if I don't have a picture to put in here. So what I did is on 123 Stitch, they started carrying some legacy linens. And yeah, this looks like it's a piece of Russian tea cake. It's 37 count. I don't know, maybe it's not. No, that's not Russian tea cake. I don't know what that is. Okay, never mind. Anyway, Russian tea count, 37 count. Really, really pretty. On Hoops and Threads, I got, you're not seeing how pretty this is. This is the 38 count Wayfarer's Cloak, which I pretty much bought for the name, Wayfarer's Cloak, but there's a million things that I want to do on this now. Maybe you can see it better that way. It's not brown, it's not gray, it's just brown and gray. But I'm really confused why I have two pieces of Russian tea cake, and I thought this was Russian tea cake. But it's not. I don't know what I started Rachel Holmes on. But I definitely want to get back to that, even though that will be a bigger project. So after Rachel Holmes, I went back to In Her House by The Good Housewife. And please, if she opens back her Etsy shop, please somebody immediately message me, because I need Elizabeth Easton, and there's a Halloween autumn one that I need. But I'm very thankful to have this one. My mom got this one for me, and I liked it, and I was glad to have it. But last year I fell in love with it and started it. And I thought it would be really good for this COVID season. It says, good housewives provide, ere sickness do come, of sundry good things in her house to have some. Good aqua composita and vinegar tart, rose water and treacle to comfort the heart. So, you know, you could rewrite this for COVID. And the good housewife gets toilet paper and hand sanitizer. I did not panic buy normal things. I bought two things, two masses of things, neither one of which I'm very proud of. But I'll tell you, I went to the store one day and bought 6 cans of baking powder. I don't know why. Yeast is what the store's all sold out of, but I got baking powder for days. I mean, I do love biscuits, but I got baking powder for days. The other thing that I was panic buying, because I thought it was going to be the apocalypse, canned soup, right? That's what you get, you know, canned soup. Well, I bought like 20 cans of clam chowder. I'm the only one in the house that will eat clam chowder. I don't know what, and I only eat clam chowder when it's cold, when it's in the winter and I'm feeling sick and it's cold outside, and I make clam chowder and I put a bunch of saltines and a bunch of hot sauce in it. And I'm very happy. And I don't know, Jerry was looking for soup the other day, and I'm like, there's tons of soup in there. You know, there's plenty. He's like, yeah, it's all clam chowder. That was my only panic buying. But anyways, I'm not going to make this a COVID memento, though. Sorry. Oh my gosh, there's a fly. The next one I did was from last year also. No. The next one I did was the Blackbird Design Summer that I showed you. And then I did, like it matters to you if I show them in the exact same order, I worked on Brenda Gervais, A Sampler Petites, Collection 2. I'm doing this Adam and Eve. This Adam and Eve. And on light mocha, I'm sure. I'm using sand for the body, and I think I'm using mocha again. Yeah, I'm using mocha for their hair and this deer here who is sniffing like a dog rather rudely. And the reds, I changed them around. I really like the two red pink colors in Caroline Broomhead. It's they're Belle Soie silks, red fawn and malted milk, and I've used them in a couple of other places. I used, they're in here. Oh, I hear the kitten crying. Nobody must be playing with him right now. This is one I'm going to work on today. That is one of the 3 that I saved out to be my small day rotations. The next day, I went back to this. This has pelican gray also, and I love it in this. I really, really like this a lot, and I was very glad to get back to it. I didn't get very far. Just doing some of the pink fill-in. But I really, really like that one, and that may be, that's on the short list for the 2-day small rotations. That is definitely on the short list. Okay, so then on the 17th, I was working on this one. It's a Barbara Anna design. Can't you just tell by that little bird? Doesn't he just scream Barbara Anna? A Barbara Anna design that you can find on the Star Spangled Stitchers Facebook group. It's a freebie, and it has a companion chart that I'd like to do one day too. And I eventually finished this one in the month, because the next day, the 18th, I said, no, I can't go. I can't look at any of my older ones. I can't start any new ones. I've just got to finish some things. So I did finish this one. That was from last year's Mania. I finished this freebie by Paulette that I had started last year's Mania. I changed, the yellow was 833, which was more of an acid yellow to me, so I changed it to 726, and I probably used 3865 as my cream, because 822 just didn't really show up as much. And it may be a little too stark for this piece, but I'm fine. Maybe 3866 would have been a better choice. So those were 2 Mania finishes from last year. Then no new starts, right? Except on the 25th, I started the Liberty by Samplers Not Forgotten, the girl, the bicycle, the dog. And then on the 30th, I just had to download more Beth Twist. And I didn't download the cover page. Beth Twist has a series of 4 charts that she made, one for each of her great-grandmothers. A birth sampler for one of each of her 4 grandmothers, which is an incredible idea. And even more incredible is she includes a small flag on each of the 4 representing the nationality or heritage. I don't know if the 2 that were from Scandinavia were born in Scandinavia, or that was just definitely their heritage. So she has a flag on each one. So I started Great Grandma Pearl's birth sampler. And so she also, I think, started making a series for her grandmothers too, but I don't, there's one of them I know that's definitely in my cart. They're all in my cart. All the great-grandmothers are in my cart. So this one has big, luscious flowers. It's an oval. Has an American flag at the top. The great-grandmother's name. And then you affix a picture of the great-grandmother, and then there's a bird on each side of the picture. So go look up Great Grandma Pearl's birth sampler. So I decided, my paternal grandmother died in 2011, and when I first saw this, I didn't realize the significance of the flag. I didn't realize it was a flag for each grandmother's different nationality and or heritage. But I just thought my grandmother loved roses, and my grandmother, one of the most patriotic women on the planet. Not that it's a competition, but she, in World War II, my grandfather and 5 of her brothers were overseas in World War II. And she tells about the day that the telegram for the youngest brother came to the house. And then, you know, and then my grandfather went to Korea after World War II, and then my father was in Vietnam, and my uncle was in Desert Storm, and she's just an amazing lady. And their front porch, it was like a bungalow, a white bungalow house, and blue hydrangeas banking the porch. It was like a wraparound porch, and the biggest American flag well, what I thought was the biggest American flag in the entire world. And a white house, blue hydrangeas, and an American flag. I mean, that just says all American. It says Southern Summer. It says my grandparents. And so she gets an American flag on her birth sampler. I mean, not that my other grandmother isn't patriotic, not that my mother's side of the family, you know, hasn't fought for our country, but I just thought, boy, that is my grandmother. The big fat roses and the American flag. And I just think that if you go to Beth Twist's Etsy site, you will fall in love, and you fall in love harder and faster when you can get it in 2 minutes. But just reading, you know, she writes up about these women, and I just think that is such an interesting. It's just such an interesting idea, and of course there's and I don't think that my grandmother's full name is going to fit on here, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. But I just think it's just the neatest idea to make birth samplers for your great-grandmother and your grandmothers. And I forgot to tell you, on My Heart Can Rest, my mom's mom, she's 92, and I go and I stay with her. I haven't been staying with him as much during COVID because my dad's putting us all on major lockdown. In the chart, she has Barb. She wrote the name of her 3rd great-grandmother. I'm sorry, she stitched it. And so what I want to do is I want to make this a birth sampler for my grandmother that I go see all the time. Oh my goodness gracious. Just because I want to. But I'm afraid to show it to her because I think she might tell me it's not her taste. I don't want to show it to her because I don't want her to tell me she doesn't like it, that she might like a brighter or vivid colors. I like this muted, faded palette. I mean, we all do, right? We all love lots of things, but we all love Blackbird's muted, faded palette. But I think my grandmother wouldn't. I think she, I remember she was telling me I was trying to put some colors in an Afghan, and my grandmother told me all colors match all colors. So she likes some vivid, bright colors. But I'm still putting her name on it. I'll make her another one if I have to, but I'm still putting her name on it because I want to. Because I just want to. All right, so that's all the stuff I've started. I think that's everything that I've started. And so I'm going to do my rotations and try to get some things done. So now I'm going to show you some things that I've gotten since my last podcast and some things that I want to start. I've showed you this. a Black Cat 1861, but I just bought the green. Some of the colors I'm going to use what I already have, but I kind of wanted to get a different green and use the green that's called for. Granny Smith green, Gloriana. So I did go ahead and get that, and I might try that on the Russian tea cake. So there's that. I am seriously going to start this because my daughter wants this, and I think that it will be really, really nice on this Wayfarer's cloak. I think she did it on Nantucket Brew. It looks kind of gray brown in the picture. That's what made me think I wanted to do it on there. I have the colors picked out for that. The other thing that I really want to do on this, I might do Martha Pudsey on it. I might do Red Deer on it, because you know I don't like really dark fabrics, and I feel like this is darker than it's showing up. But it's a brown gray, and I think I want to do this on it. Peace on Earth. It's in the Bells on Christmas Day. And you know me, I'm just not going to use a mottled dark fabric. I'm just not going to do it. I mean, yours is going to be beautiful like that, but I'm not going to do it. So I think I might want to do that on this. And then I was looking at this, and I kept thinking, oh, but there's that other one that says something else, but it looks like this. So I finally found it in one of the greatest and underrepresented, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but this is a really great book. This is an incredible Blackbird Designs book. And one of the many beautiful and perfect samplers in here is Peace and Plenty. And I just think these two, in my mind, these two are linked. Maybe it's the color palette. They both say peace. I don't know. I really like those. And I kind of think I want to do this one first, but then I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But one of those is going to get slapped on this Wayfarer's cloak. I got this. I don't know if I showed you this or not. I think I got this on eBay. I don't think this one is out of print, but I don't see it as often. It's really pretty. And then my last thing that I got, my most recent thing, was this, which I want to do right this very minute, but I need to finish Joyous Day. And with that, I got this. Softly walk and gently speak, lest you harm the strong or wound the weak. And I like what it says, and I like the colors, and I think that is just such a beautiful scroll work right there. I really, really love that. I don't know if I showed you this. I got this on Stash Unload or Stash Unloading, or it might have been Samplers Through Time. I don't think it's out of print, but I just don't see it as often as I see like The Flood and Adam and Eve, but I do love that. I may have showed you this. I showed somebody this. Scattered Seed. I kind of think I showed you that last time. This, the Schoolhouse Stitcher did this. E. Blusser. Not sure how you say that. It's kind of got the same feel, in my mind, as the Red R sampler. And also there's something else like this, but I can't think what it is. Oh, I got this today from, might have been Threads Through Time or Stash Unload. It's a GGR. And it's not that big. On 40 count, it would be 9 1/4 inches by 9 inches. I mean, that just seems enormous, but on 28 count, it would be 13 by 13. 32, it would be 11 1/2 by 11 1/2. 35, 10 1/2 by 10 1/2. Isn't that surprising? And it is Classic Colorworks Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works with a DMC a DMC conversion on Weeks Dye Work Confederate Gray. That just surprises me how small that is. And in my mind, I think, oh, 9 by 9, that's doable. I could just do that in a month. That's how all of this around me has happened. So today, I've already worked on summer. Yesterday, today, and Saturday, I'm working on summer by Blackbird Designs. Today and tomorrow, I'm trying to finish up that mini A&E by Brenda Gervais. Next week on the 4th, which is Saturday, so next Saturday, the 4th, I'm going to start Flag Folk. And if anybody else wants to join me stitching any kind of Americana, I almost thought, you know, we could call it like a Betsy Ross sow, because she stitched on a flag, or a Liberty sow, because it's Independence Day. But then, you know, if you're not American and you're not interested in stitching American, of course, you don't have to be American to stitch American stuff, because if that were the rule, I couldn't stitch Scottish stuff or British stuff or Dutch stuff or German stuff or, some of those Mexican and Spanish samplers that people keep showing. Somebody showed one recently. And then there's the Kitten Stitcher, Shakespeare's Peddler one. I'm going to have to do one of those one day. But anyways, if we had to stitch, you know, only our own country's stitching, that would be very sad. So, but if you don't want to stitch Americana, you can stitch a flag. But there is a hashtag on Instagram that I follow called Patriotic Stitching. That's probably just what I'll tag my flag folk, because I really like to follow that that hashtag. But anyways, I'm going to go upstairs and play with my kitten now. Oh no, I'm going to clean all this up and try to figure out where these two threads go. I wonder where those go. So, until I see you again, have a good and safe 4th of July next weekend if you're in America. Everybody else, have a safe and happy weekend this weekend and next weekend. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. Few weeks. Several weeks.